Hey, what's up, everybody? Hi, once again. I am Paul, one of the co-founders of the Temboway. I am more than happy to be here tonight. So glad that everybody could join us. I want to thank you all for just coming through the journey with us so far. I'm here with one of my friends. Do you want to introduce yourself?
What's up, guys? My name is Zach. Computer science major. A month away, well, 3 weeks away from graduating. So yeah, I'm just here linking up my buddy Paul.
There we go. So tonight we're going to be talking about a pretty straightforward subject. Basically, the what if fear, and then overcoming that fear. Being able to control what you can and confront what you can't. So let's get right into it. The game of college. I always say college is a game. Here's the reality of things. An average, according to sources, an average of 20.4 million students a year as of 2017 apply to college. So, how does a student, how do I, Paul, how does Zach, how does somebody else stand out in that process? How do you, from those 20 million human beings, how do you stand apart and make yourself special, right? How do you stand apart and make yourself worthy? You know, you deem yourself as, I deserve to go to this school. I deserve to be at this place. How do you do that?
Those are some tough questions, honestly. Those are some very tough questions. There's some real questions. But I think we have some ideas that can, at least we can share what we did.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Kind of like direct what we did. So I'm hoping that can help somebody out there.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. I know for my journey, it was different. It wouldn't be the normal way, right? I don't think many of us could even consider normal to be the standard, you know? But first and foremost, you got to know what you want. Straight out of the bat, you got to know what you want. You have to be able to look at whatever standards that have been set. You have to be able to set your own standards and understand that going into this game, I'm gonna have a pretty solid idea of what's gonna be coming in front of me. It's not gonna surprise me. Here's an example. Played football back in the day, and before each game, we used to watch film, right? The purpose of film was to get us ready to face the opponent. We'd watch the defensive schemes. We'd watch the offensive schemes.
Film.
We'd watch special teams. Everything. All in preparation for the game. Meaning, by the time I got on that field, by the time I strapped up and put my pads on, by the time I tied up my cleats, by the time I got my earphones out, I knew one thing and one thing alone. I've done everything I possibly can on the face of this earth to prepare to take on whoever's on the other side of that field. You got to know what you want. You got to know how to get it. One of the things I think, personally for me, that I especially struggled with was learning that I was coming into this as the rookie. So it's very easy, I think, to come across and be like, all right, bet, you know what? I've been in high school. I am a senior. I'm at the top of the food chain. And then you catch yourself doing this thing where it's like, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be easy. It's going to be the same way. And that's not true at all.
Far from. You learn quick, too. A lot of it is trial and error, but because everyone's story is just kind of different. You know
Absolutely,
like
absolutely.
Everybody has their own custom tailored story and pathway that they have to take. Like, it's the idea of like, hey, I want to do something. I want to go to college, but you know, you don't know exactly how to prepare for it. And I completely understand if you're in a situation like that. I mean, like you said, Paul said with the analogy with the football, you know, he trained, practiced, all ready for the game. He knows what he wanted to do in the game. You might not know exactly what your major is. You don't know exactly, but you want to go to college. So I guess some recommendation can be like you can consider community college.
True.
It's kind of flexible. You can Because I mean, your first year of college is pretty general. You know, it's going to be the same if you go to university. Mm-hmm. The plus side about that is it's significantly cheaper.
Way
a lot cheaper.
That's true. Way cheaper. Way cheaper.
Fraction of the cost. You know what I'm saying? Like a meal plan at a university is a full year at a community college. So you know, that's an idea. You know,
absolutely. But kind of thinking on that a little bit. I want to kind of touch on the application process, right? So first step in the game after you know what you want. I know where I want to go. I may not even know where I want to study, but I know where I want to go. So we've got to come into the application process. You got to understand that, one, there is another human on the other side of that process.
That's true.
Right? I want to say hello to Lawrence. Lawrence, what's up, man? There's another human on the other side of that process. They're looking at your application, right? So this is after, of course, you've gone through the whole thing. They're looking at your application, and they get to make a decision dependent on how much preparation you did. Now, when we talk about preparation, you've looked up what the standard SAT or ACT score is. You've looked up what the standard GPA is. You've looked up what the standard course load is like. You've looked up the area. You've done a college visit. You've talked to people that went there. You were in contact with different professors or students, or you're in the Temple community, right? You're in the Temple community, and you get that access to everything. So you've done everything you want to do. You've fully prepared for, I'm getting to this now. Let me throw my application. So you go to open up the Common App or whatever application process you use, and you finally have to go through there's a method to the process. So what are you going to do? Or rather, what can you do to make the process more predictable? Right? What do I mean by that? What are you going to do to ensure that the first time you apply to your university, the first time you apply to your program, the first time you apply to your top school, your top 2, your top 3, you get in? What are you going to do to make that more predictable? It's very easy to forget how in control you are of the whole thing. I think it's very easy to forget how in control. It's very easy to get overwhelmed and be like, you know, I've done all this, I've done all that, and now you go through that waiting process, right? Yeah. Where like, and I love seeing those videos of the kids that are doing the college acceptance like reveals, where they're just like, you know, I got into wherever, and it's like a whole big ordeal. I love that. But between me submitting my application and me doing my reveal video, you're panicking. But check it out.
Kind of freaking out.
Like, you don't know
what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But here's the thing. Quote me on this. You're already in control of the situation. You've done your part, right? If you fully prepared, you've done your part. Let me give an example. If arguably the GOAT of basketball, arguably MJ, when
he is.
That's to debate at a later time. When people came to face Michael Jordan, I'd like to say they did their homework, right? If I know I'm going to be locking up MJ tonight, I've done practice, conditioning, all that. I want to be able to know. This is what I mean by making it predictable. I want to get to the point where if I see Michael step to the left, I know every single possible outcome from him stepping his left foot out, right? If I see him pump fake to the right, I have every single possible outcome in my mind, knowing that if my man does this, no matter what he does this, I know, boom, 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 boom. These are the options.
Ready for opportunity.
This is what he's going to. This is what is going to happen, right? Making the whole thing predictable. Now, if I'm in control of that situation, right? If I'm in control of that whole thing, I can almost guarantee, for better or worse, I'm gonna have Mike on lock. Another example, Cristiano Ronaldo, right? People argue that Cristiano is one of the best to play. I mean, he's no Ronaldinho Guacho, but you know, arguably, he's one of the best to do it currently, right? When people come to play Cristiano, I'm pretty positive, pretty damn sure that they're sitting there like, I'm going to make sure I have all it done. I've watched all the film. If I can, I'm sitting there in warm-ups, watching him warm up, right? I'm gonna make sure,
That's true.
no matter
That's
what,
true. That's true.
I'm not being embarrassed today.
You be warming up, but you kind of like looking over there. Okay,
Just
okay, what's he
eyes
doing?
locked.
You know,
The same process for college, right? You got to look at it that way. If I'm making my application, if I'm turning my application in, I've done my homework. I've watched my film. I've made sure that I'll be able to lock down this whole process. Still, to the point where it's like, by the time the other human's looking at my application, I'm confident I'm getting in.
that's fact.
I'm confident I have it on lock.
That's true.
Right? No one can
You're
tell
not,
me.
like you're not worried about it because you know you did everything you
I did
possibly
everything
could
possible
in the situation you were in to
Perfect.
submit the application, and you have all your P's and Q's in line and everything set. So you're not worried about it. Which is good. But I understand that waiting process. You don't want to be like you want to feel confident that you nailed that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like it's just like playing basketball. You're taking a jump shot, right? Like you're on a team. You run the play, and the ball swings to you. You're wide open. That's exactly what's supposed to happen, and you just have to take that shot. It's an open shot. You got to take it, and once you let it fly, it just happens. It's kind of like that waiting period.
One or two things happen.
If it goes in, it goes in. If it misses, just do the same thing. Just do it again. It was a good shot, a good opportunity. Back to the application process. Have more than one school. Have a few schools. Have 5 or 6 schools.
There we go.
Shoot your shot for all those 5 or 6 schools, and that waiting opportunity. There's a good chance that you're going to get accepted to one of those schools that you have.
Absolutely. Let me ask about that missed shot.
Yeah.
So you shoot your shot. You shoot your shot, and it doesn't go in. You submit your application, and you don't get accepted. Whose fault is it?
I believe that, some doors are shut so other doors can. It sounds so like
cliche.
Cliche. It sounds so cliche, but you start to see things happen. Like opportunity here doesn't happen. That opens up another path for something else.
Right.
You kind of learn from like a mistake, I would say, but you learn from these things. You learn from these situations.
Right.
So I guess that's how I put it in my own words. What do you think?
But check it out. I mean, and I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying absolutely 100%. So, all that, but what do you do? Right? So the point I'm trying to hit is, what do you do if you don't get in to the school you wanted to get into? What do you do if you miss your shot? I think first and foremost, it's very important to remember. And as weird as it sounds to say this, it's not about you. Does that make sense? It's not about you. If you don't get in, chances are it's not about you. It's not just a computer sitting there making like decisions based
Shout out
on
to Jarrell. He just made a comment. He said, chase rebounds. So I'm going to bring that back. I'm going to put it into this application process. Hustle and determination.
Absolutely.
You can't stop that. That is tough. Your will, your drive. I'm going back to basketball. That will and drive to grab that rebound. You might not be the biggest guy on the floor, but if you have the hustle and the heart, you're going to get those boards. You're going to get those things. Same thing with applications. You hustle. You submit these applications, things are going to happen. Good things are going to happen.
Absolutely.
Very good things are going to happen.
Very good things are going to happen.
That's a good point. That's a very good point, bro.
Fantastic
Good point.
So, like I was saying, if you get rejected, it doesn't mean it wasn't the right thing for you. It doesn't mean you weren't the right thing for the school. It doesn't mean that you're not capable. It just means that the decision that the person or the other party made was just that. And sometimes it can be about you, but chances are, it's nothing personal. It's not about you. It's just decisions were made and things happened. So you kind of moved on. So, and when you say be in control, right? So the video title says, control what you can, confront what you can't. Meaning, you just stay consistent with what? Your grades. You stay consistent with your study habits.
Yes.
You stay consistent with...
That's so key. That's so crucial.
Everything you're trying to apply to this process, right? So this would be the warm-up drills you're doing. This would be the stretching. This would be the nutrition you need, right? Stay consistent. And this could apply even outside of Tembo or outside of school. your social life, everything. You just, sports, right? We've been talking about that a lot. I don't know, your romantic life. Stay consistent, right? So if you practice the same habits over and over and over and over and over, at the end of the day, boom.
You have another great comment right there.
Focus and what's up to
strengths, and your strengths outweigh your weaknesses.
I want to make a quick comment on that, Joseph. Thank you so much for joining us. Joseph said, focus on your strengths, and your strengths will outweigh your weaknesses. But let me add on to that.
Go ahead.
So I started reading this book, Principles by Ray Dalio, The Working Life Principles. Fantastic read. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. This is not a plug. It's not a promotion. You probably have not exist. I'm just saying it's a beautiful book. But in there, he talks about your strengths being the key focus, but it's also important. Look at this. So when you stay consistent, right? You stay consistent. Because I'm already good at what I'm good at. And either it's by natural ability or years of time that I've, years practice. Where I've put in practice and I've gotten good at something. But then, and there's things that I'm good at that to this day, no matter what I practice at this point, I'm going to be good at. I could sit at a piano and just start playing some fire and be confident that no matter what, no matter where, no matter with who, I'm going to kill it. But do I have weaknesses? Yeah. How do you get those weaknesses to be strengths, though? Because it's important for those strengths to outweigh the weaknesses. But at some point, you also have to make your weaknesses strengths. You can't just let your weaknesses not let you grow. It's important not only to proclaim or shine out your strengths, but it's also important to work on those weaknesses so they too become strengths. I think it's so important. And that's how you do it. Consistency. So if I'm not good at coding, guess what I'm going to do every freaking day? I'm going to get on, what was it, Khan Academy, Code Academy, whatever. Code Academy. And I'm going to learn Python. I'm going to learn Java, whatever. HTML. And he's the one that does all the coding stuff. But I'm going to get out there and I'm just going to, every single day, and I'm going to learn this line of code. So if I tell myself I'm going to learn 2 lines of code every single day for the next year, guess what's going to happen by the end of the year? Guess what's going to happen?
Day by day, piece by piece.
Day by day, piece by piece, I'm going to have learned the whole language.
Weakness is like an opportunity to strengthen something. It's like going to the gym. Say you're not good at like squats or like bench press or something like that. Like you're not good at that. That's the opportunity for you to start working on that. And not only are you going to start getting better at that by slow progress and repetition and consistency, all these things, you're going to get stronger. You're going to start seeing results. So it's going to feed other things in your life, So I just had to add that to that.
Love it.
I was thinking about that.
Love it. Absolutely. Yo, listen. The point is keep grinding.
Yes.
Keep grinding. And strengths
hustle.
And weaknesses.
Yep.
Keep grinding. Be consistent. Hustle. Don't get outworked. Don't get outworked. Now the other part is knowing how to study for these situations. If I'm able to master how to be consistent, if I'm able to master the process, if I'm able to get ready and make sure that I'm prepared for every single thing, guess what happens? I'm not surprised. Come game day, I'm not surprised that MJ's out there killing it. Come game day, I'm not surprised that the opponent on the other side of the field is out there hustling hard, sprinting through their warm-ups. Come game day, I'm not surprised that I got into the top school that I wanted to. Remember, there's how many people? 20 million human beings applying every single year. I'm not surprised that a big bunch of them are going to get into the same top school that I get into. And when I get there, I'm not going to be shocked. I'm not going to be shocked that there's people that are insanely smart. Why? Because I put in my work, so I deserve to be there. It's not going to be something, whatever. You get on the basketball court, right? Are you surprised at all that somebody else is able to dribble, shoot, run, hustle?
Are you shocked? I don't know if I've done my homework. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
I'm not. I'll be. Mercy.
He's getting excited right now. See,
I will not.
Game right now. He's in the game right now.
I will not be shocked if I get on the court right now. I'm not going to be at all shocked that somebody's out there hustling.
So I just want to add that this is super cliche, but Google is an amazing place for answers. For example, I had an internship this past summer. I didn't know too much about this corporation. I didn't know really anything. I didn't know how it was going to happen. I didn't know how much. I knew it was a paid internship, but I didn't know how much it was. I didn't know about like living, housing situations. I didn't know how that was going to go. I talked to HR on the phone. Didn't know. You know what? I went to Google. I found Glassdoor.com. It's a place where
Glassdoor.
It's like Yahoo Answers for like corporations. And like literally paragraphs of people explaining the same situation that I was in. I had no idea. You know, I just found that just doing your homework like that. You know, I kind of just discovered that. So Google's a real good place to start from just, you know, just Google search for these things. So Daniela, shout out to Daniela. So how do you make yourself unique?
There you go.
So you can, like we said earlier, you can focus on your strengths. Focus on what you're most confident in and really sharpen that skill. Stay on top of that skill. Find ways to make yourself better at whatever skill you have. I like to build cars. I like to see it as a skill. In my free time, I'm not only like working on my car here and there. I'm on YouTube watching guys tear down engines or swap transmissions or something like that. Like I'm always kind of tweaking, trying to make that skill just a little bit better. You know, there's always room for improvement. You know, like the master, like you can't master it all at once. You know, there's always room for improvement. Always learning things.
Let me add on to that real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would you say, when you, because he's a master mechanic on top of master coder, on top of everything else, on top of master athlete. But when it comes to working on your car or working on a car, do you think there's something you do best above everything else?
Yeah, breaking things and then fixing them again. That's definitely my skill. Definitely. Like you know, like there's a problem, you break it, and you're like, oh shoot, what happens? Google and YouTube. Lawrence just made another comment. He said he taught himself how to code with Visual Basic just using Google and YouTube. Those sources are free. You go on YouTube, there's almost a video on basically everything out there right now. Tutorial step by step. Stuff's out there. Going back to application processes for school, there might not be a video of that, but there's going to be documentation somewhere. Someone's talking about it. Like I said on Glassdoor, people are writing books of comments of them explaining their situations of like what happened, situations. And I'll have to say, for my situation, my internship, it was about 90% accurate of what I read there. So I didn't, like, things weren't necessarily a surprise like what we've been saying. We did the,
you did your homework.
I did the homework.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, so I know what's going on. So by the time I talked to HR, it was a confirmation for me. It wasn't like, oh, okay, well, you know, like, I don't know yet. Maybe, I don't know.
No, you already knew.
You know?
Check this out. I also think, how else do you make yourself unique? You have to be able to master something, right? It's great to be good at a lot of things as a student. It's great to be across the board well-rounded, and that's important. Don't get me wrong, that's important to be well-rounded as a student, but I also think there has to be something you bring to the table that stands out from the hundreds of thousands of other applicants.
And it takes time, like,
and it
you
takes
know,
time.
like we said, master something.
Learning how to run the long game.
I'm not saying I'm like a master of this particular skill. I'm just saying it takes time to get there. You learn a little bit more and more each and every day.
Oh yeah.
By doing your homework, even, you know, like YouTube, Google, Wikipedia, you know, just reading articles here and there, just a little bit here and there. Just those little things make the difference. You're on your phone, you're just kind of searching for things, you know, things like that make it. The people that you follow or the tags that you follow on, for example, I'm on Instagram, you can follow tags now. You can follow tags on whatever you want it to be, you know. You can start learning about things like that. You know, there's sources out there. So you can't blame yourself for saying, oh, I don't know. You can get on Google, you can start searching, you know, something like that.
Absolutely. I think also on top of that, just learning how to, how can I best put this? Learning how to sell yourself.
Wow, that's key. That's key. I'm
Learn
piggyback off that one.
Learn how to sell yourself. That's, you know what, Daniela, that's, according to Paul, that's how you become unique. Learn how to sell yourself. Okay? What do I mean? Be it in an interview for a school, be it in an interview for a job, be it in the application process. if I'm on the other side and I'm looking at your application, right? If I'm on the other side and I'm conducting your interview, it's great that you know all these things, right? It's great that you know how to code 6, 7, 8, 20 different languages. It's fantastic, and I'm happy. But still, every other applicant knows how to do that, right? Your internship, everybody else knew how to do what you were doing, right?
Yeah.
Every single person.
That's true.
Right? I had a job interview back in November, and every single person, so it's in investment banking, and I'm pretty positive every single person that was doing it knew a heck of a lot about mergers and acquisitions, knew a heck of a lot about trading, knew a heck of a lot about finances. So it makes me stand out. I had to learn how to sell myself. I had to learn to be like, hey, my name is Paul, and this is what I bring to the table. Granted, everybody else brings this, but guess what? I bring this better, right? If I'll come to you and I'll say, look, here I am, pick me, and this is how I'll enhance your company. Or pick me, and this is how I'll enhance your school. Or pick me, and this is how I'll enhance your program.
It's true.
It's so important.
I just want to share a quick story.
Yeah.
Before I had this internship, there was this convention that I went to for engineers in computer science. It's a big, giant convention, and
What's the convention called?
NSBE, National Society of Black Engineers. It's for STEM majors, STEM-based majors. And so what it is, in a nutshell, is a convention of corporations. So you have like Apple, Google, like YouTube, Harris Corporation, Northrop Grumman, Rockwell Collins. They're all there. Then they send recruiters to these places, and you are pretty much a deer surrounded by a bunch of lions. You're in an environment that is very stressful because you're going around and you're handing out resumes, talking to recruiters, and it's they offer jobs on site. They offer internships, interviews on site. So, like Paul said, there's thousands of kids that go to these conventions and they might know 20 different languages. You know, I'm sure that there's Uber kids that are super smart that know what's going on. So you know that's not gonna make you unique from everyone else in that convention. But you can focus on your strengths. You can hold conversations. You can talk to people and kind of make them laugh a little bit. You can talk about projects that you have. For example, I didn't have the best GPA. Honestly, it wasn't the greatest. It wasn't the best grades. But I was able to impress some of these recruiters by just holding a conversation. Just something simple like that. Holding a conversation. Holding a conversation was what bridged me to these people. That's what I was able to do to talk to these people. And I'm sitting in a position right now where I'm graduating in about 3 weeks, and I'll be starting to work full time in Florida. So, and you know, this is coming from someone that never had the greatest GPA. I just happened to focus on my strengths and communicate. Did my research, did the nitty gritty Googling, finding things, research here and there, just doing things like that. You know, like finding the crack in the wall and just getting in there. You know, like there's a million other people out there.
Oh my goodness.
You know, you have to make yourself unique, and that's the way I found myself doing that process, was just hustling, grinding, you know, same thing. So what do you think about that, Paul?
I agree. Definitely. And that's the other part, so I want to talk about that a little bit. You don't have to be the smartest kid in the room to have the best job in the building.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You don't have to be the most talented person on the team to have the most championships. Who's a perfect example? Luke Walton.
I'm reading that comment right now. Go ahead.
Luke Walton. Not to negate Luke Walton's championships, but how many championships does Luke Walton have? How many? A lot.
Yeah.
How many times did you see him taking the game-winning shot? I mean, this is not to throw any shade on my boy, but I'm just saying. He put in the work, got a little luck, and got where he was, right? It's the same thing in the whole thing. You don't have, and don't let the fear of not having a 4.0, don't let the fear of not having a 3.8 keep you. Don't let that keep you from still seeking out the opportunities that are there, right? Don't let it, because remember, so the first things you have to do in the transformation process is having a game plan and being able to control the voices in your head. Be able to filter out all the negative voices that are telling you, hey, look, your GPA is not the greatest, so you can't do this. Oh, no, bump those people. Hell, work hard though. Raise it up a little bit, right? So bump it up a little bit. You gotta be able to work. Or you got to be able to learn that work ethic. But at the same time, bump the people that are saying to you, your 3.0, your 2.8 is going to hold you back from doing it.
Like I said, I never had the greatest GPA. Never did. I mean, this goes back to like high school. Never had the craziest GPA. Nothing flashy. Nothing at all. But that determined, I think, this is at least what I think. I think my determination and my hustle was really what pushed it. And just interview processes, like going on Google, watching like what do companies look for in interviews, like when do I ask questions like how much are y'all gonna pay me? Like that's things you can't just drop that question on the first interview. You
but you gotta drop it at some point.
Yeah, you have to. But
and then you also have to be able to leverage. Yeah,
exactly. Like you have to know the timing, and like all these things are out there. Like people are recording, like they're giving you tips. Guys that are making 6 figures out of college. Working for like Apple or working for Google or something like that. These people are literally telling you what they did. Kind of like what we're doing right now, you know?
We're sitting out here
and
getting on the camera.
You know, that's a very good point. And you know, once you get that degree, that GPA disappears. I mean, it's gone. Gone. It's kind of like a filter for like new grads, because you know, like. I know it's hard out there. It's like some corporations want you to like come out of school with like 3 years of experience and like a
4.7
GPA.
Okay,
it's like
and like
okay, so maybe
10 years work experience and all that.
That company's looking for like more like older professionals. But the thing is, let me tell you this right now. These companies are suffering because they don't have that young wave, those new minds. They don't have that. They are suffering. Everyone that is working for those corporations are on the tail end of their career. They are retiring and they are in a drought. They are going to realize that they need to look at these young people. They need to understand what's going on. And then that comes opportunity for us to be in the interview process.
Right.
Start talking to them. Start getting to know them. Being a social, talking about things. Because these companies, they need young people. They need the young, fresh minds. Because a lot of these guys are retiring and they're gone. You know,
they've been at this since like the 70s.
And then coming out of school, they can train you, which is huge.
That's the thing.
Able to be taught.
That's a thing. You have to learn the job at some point.
Internships, 90% are huge. Internships, they it's not like a full job, but it's good because corporations can give you like appetizers to see how you digest things, see how you work things.
And chances are, you do that internship with that corporation, coming out of graduation, they just might give you a full-time job.
You know, I think we're jumping ahead a little bit here.
We might be. We're getting way ahead of ourselves, but I'm getting excited. Let's back up a little bit. Let's back up a little bit. So that's the tail end of things. That's the tail end of things. But check out how you achieve success. You have to be able to put in the work at the front end, right? You have to be able to learn how to put in that work at the front end of everything. So again, that's all part of being prepared. That's all part of making sure that I've done everything in my world that now by the time I submitted that application, I'm on top of that. And then once you get in, I am still on top of my game. I'm still confident that because I'm in now, I deserve to be here. I'm prepared. See, that's the whole part of I can't be surprised, right? And honestly, here's the thing. If you've done your homework, if you've done your part, if you've hustled, if you've done everything you can do to make sure the process will be in your favor, once you get in, celebrate it. But truly, can you even really be surprised you got in? Right? And I know some schools, it's a lot harder. There's a lot more people. The interview process is a lot more rigorous. But if you did your work, can you really be surprised you got in? Can you like, I mean, it's one thing to be like, I'm in, but can you just be like, I can't believe it, like, you know? All that, yo, if you did your work, the I can't believe it's are not a thing. You're just like, oh, that. I'm in here. That's all I got to say. You got anything to add to that?
Yeah, so since we're, bringing it back a few steps, like the life after high school graduation, it does exist. Okay, I was one of those kids that didn't think life after high school existed, and I was like, what is college? What is work? What is post high school? The life doesn't exist. Okay, it's high school forever, but it does exist. So it took me a while to learn that. Like I said earlier about the whole community college thing, that's the route that I took. I didn't go to a big university on my first shot, and I was kind of down about it, honestly, to be completely honest. I was completely down about it. I was shot down. I didn't know what was going on. I was kind of like that waiting period. I mean, I applied to other schools, but like it just wasn't happening. But that opportunity to go to a community college, at first I was like, man, LMC. It's called Lake Michigan College, but LMC also stands for Last Minute College. They make fun, they make jokes about it. But it wasn't such a bad thing.
Degrees there, bro.
Oh man, one thing that was, there were so many good things that came out of that.
Yeah.
I saw it from such a negative point of view, but it was so many good things came out of that. I ended up playing basketball there, scholarship there. I had a lot of friends there. It was a good thing. So I guess if I could say one thing to someone out there that's listening, community college is a very good opportunity. It's you can stay at home. It's a little bit cheaper. It's a good opportunity.
Absolutely. So, I agree. I have nothing else to add. Know your options. Set realistic goals. Shoot above them. And even if you don't get what you want, guess what? You're still hitting the goals you set anyway. Set your standards. Know how to set them. Know how to rise above. Don't chase low standards. That's all I got to share, folks. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here. Once again, temboway. Peace.
Good seeing you guys.